All right, welcome to another community meeting, the first meeting we have in March. I'm seeing we only have one topic to discuss LLM inference implementation, I guess enhancement proposal in kgateway. And we have the speaker here, Daniel. Do you want to take us through that?
Sure. So yeah, we have a few things going on with the implementation of inference extension. I'm at the point where it's kind of like two major parts of the effort. There's the deployer side where kgateway will deploy the endpoint picker infrastructure. So when we talk about Gateway API inference extension, right now the reference extension is called endpoint picker. And so that's really the first extension, not only for the project, but obviously what we will support within kgateway. And so when I talk about the endpoint picker infrastructure, endpoint picker, of course, program written in Go that runs as a Kubernetes deployment, gets fronted by a service, and then has some RBAC associated with it, and so forth. And so traditionally, the kgateway deployer deploys gateway infrastructure, and so that was used as kind of a model for an inference extension deployer, with the first inference extension being the endpoint picker. That all works, still working through a few little details, but for the most part, the inference extension deployer again is modeled off the gateway deployer. So same patterns, using Helm templates and running those Helm templates into objects that get deployed by the deployer. Then there's actually the endpoint picker plugin that is functioning, but it is not generating the Envoy configuration as desired. And so I'm working through those details right now, specifically around the XProc cluster, or in the XProc filter that needs to get applied to gateway or Envoy listeners. So yeah, making progress, and I'm hoping here very soon we'll actually kind of have something functioning end to end, and then I'll clean up the PR and ask for another round of reviews. There's some other things related to the effort that we can talk about as well, if we want to put those in the parking lot, and if we have some time, we could talk more about that as well.
That sounds great. So if I understood you correctly right now, Daniel, you don't need any help, but once you clean up, you're going to need reviewers on this. Is that correct?
That's correct. Yuval has been a big help, so thank you, Yuval. I'm going to try to fix some of these issues that I'm seeing with the Envoy config that gets generated by the plugin. So I may reach out to you, Yuval, if I get stuck, but I feel like I'm making some progress. But yeah, generally, I think we're getting pretty close.
So just FYI, we had the AI plugin recently merged that also uses XProc. So if you need a reference, that might be helpful. And otherwise, I'm happy to help.
Okay, that's good. And I'm sorry, I missed the first part of that. Did that merge already?
Not the XProc server itself, but the thing that configures the XProc filter. Yeah, that merged.
That has merged. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that's actually a good point. Let me take a look at that as just kind of a reference and see maybe what differs there. So yeah, thank you for that. I'm going to take a look at that right after the call.
That's great. Now, can we get a quick update on the AI work? I think you just mentioned the AI plugin that uses the XProc with merge. Is there any more work for the AI work, AI plugin for kgateway?
Yeah, I can give this update. So we've split up the AI, like open sourcing the Glue AI APIs and kgateway in 3 parts. So we had first the enhancement proposal and the APIs merge. The thing that merged today is the plugin work. So that's all the Envoy specific code. And then finally, we're going to add the XProc server and the end-to-end tests in the 3rd PR, which is up for review now.
Okay, thank you so much, Nina. So once the 3rd piece is in, we could potentially try the AI function in kgateway now.
Yep, exactly.
And that's as ingress, right? Not as egress. Am I?
No, it's the egress gateway. So it goes out to the provider. There's actually, you can try out the PR now. I can link in the chat. I'll just pull it up in a sec. So it has instructions on how to set it up. But all you need is a backend resource. And once you apply that, that sets up the routing for you to all the providers that we support. So OpenAI, Gemini, Vertex AI, Azure, the whole list.
That's great. Awesome.
Oh, since it's a community meeting, we should probably mention in the meeting minutes that we're officially a CNCF project.
Yes, we should. Yes, we've been kind of broadcast on different social channels, but yeah, it's on our Slack. It's also, by the way, we also have a LinkedIn page. So we would love folks to follow. Yeah, let me put in the meeting minutes too. That's a great point. The other thing we're planning to do is run a beta program, and hopefully maybe sometime next week, certainly dates could change, but the goal is to have builds available for people to try some of the new function, like the AI gateway function.
Mhm.
Sorry, real quick, I was going to say on that topic, it's probably worth mentioning. We're tentatively going to shoot for the beta 1 end of day tomorrow, possibly Thursday morning. So we should have that with the 2 kind of key usable features at that point will be the transformation API and the Lambda destination support.
All right. And it's transformation future.
Yeah, and so there's also, once again, for anyone who wants to sort of see generally where these are being planned, there's a project in the kgateway dev organization, which should be visible for sort of what's going into an issue. To my knowledge, we don't have any other sort of tracking. So if people want to advocate for setting something else into one of those, buckets, at least right now, that's where we're doing it.
Awesome. Nathan, should we put anything in the notes for that?
I don't know. It's more of a question for this group here and or any other people who combine, listen to this community meeting later. Right now, to my knowledge, other people, it's going pretty fast right now. So maybe I'm missing something, but right now, my understanding of what's going to go into beta is mainly driven from that project view. So, if people want to get an update on what might be in a beta or advocate for something to be in a beta, it's a good place to look. Obviously, coming to this meeting is a great time to advocate for it too. But yeah.
All right, perfect. And Daniel, you mentioned about have some topic for discussing in the parking lot. Did I miss that? Did you want?
Yeah, just a few things going on. So I'm working with Art on adding version doc support to the upstream inference extension docs. Art, do you mind maybe taking a moment and just giving a little more context to that?
Yeah, so the upstream docs use a different kind of static site generator than the kgateway docs, which are based on Hugo. The upstream is based on MK docs, and this theme that we use in particular kind of has a bunch of different plugins. One of them is a versioning plugin. And so we kind of got this rolling because as they're cutting, like new releases, the instructions need to be updated differently. And so I kind of have a working POC of that in a branch. And right now, like Damian mentioned, we're just kind of working through how to update the build process. Seems like there's not exactly it's like a semi-automated build process. So I'm trying to figure out how to write some like make commands just to make the version doc release work. Yeah.
And this is the Gateway API inference extension doc?
Yes. Yep.
Okay. By the way, Danny, is your blog published already, or that's contingent on what Art is working on?
No, it's not published. It's kind of been in a holding pattern because I have been focused on the kgateway implementation. So I need to circle around to that, but the plan is to have it published shortly before KubeCon. But speaking of blogs, along with some of the reasoning for for Art's work with the version docs, I'm also working with Christian Posta to do one, maybe potentially two inference extension related blog posts that would be solo blog posts. One of them being around doing a performance comparison, like performance benchmarking of LLM traffic with and without Gateway API inference extension. And one of the issues that Christian had is if you go to the Gateway API inference extension docs, you'll see there's a getting started guide, and because it's not versioned, it's all based off the main branch, and things are in flux with the main branch. A lot of changes happening, and so Christian couldn't even get it up and running. So when I went ahead and tested it, I created, I put in the chat window here of this meeting, just some a quick start guide that's specific to the 0.1 release. So that kind of brings in, again, the reason for versioning the docs. So that's going to be really awesome to get that into the project and integrated into our release process. And then, like I said, working with Christian, and there's just some hurdles that we're having to jump through because what he has set up is based on the 0.1 release. There are some limitations when it comes to metrics and using a tool called LLM Perf. But we're kind of working through some of these hurdles that we got to jump through. And again, the plan would be to at least have one solo blog post that helps bring attention not only to the project, but our involvement and kind of expertise within the project, and an area that's really important. And one of the main reasons why you'd even use the endpoint pickers to improve performance of your model servers.
Yeah, that makes sense. Thank you so much for that update. Yeah, it's good to show the value through the performance numbers. All right, any other topics we should be discussing? If not, I'll give you guys 15 minutes back. Thanks so much, everybody, for joining. Congratulations to everyone. We made it to a ZNCF project. Thank you.
Okay.